Hi everyone, my name's Torro, I'm 16 and I make videos all about Gilberts Syndrome, aka the liver condition that people say is no big deal. Spoiler alert, it really is a big deal. If you know me, then you probably know me from my YouTube shorts or my TikToks, but today I really wanted to make a longer video covering all the symptoms of GS. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because I've struggled with a lot of the GS symptoms for like most of my teenage years, and I'm really frustrated by doctors saying that it is benign or it doesn't cause symptoms when there is so much evidence that it does. And yeah, those symptoms might not be dangerous or life-threatening, they can be seriously annoying, like really annoying. Now, I haven't had the time or motivation to make this video, but today, since I'm literally stuck in bed, I'm gonna make it for you guys. Also, PS, I'm not a doctor. I am just a girl who loves to read clinical studies and nerd out on this kind of stuff. So some of this video is going to be voiced over because I lisp a lot and it is hard for me to talk in front of the camera like this. So please grab a snack, get comfy, grab a blanket, sit down, and let's get on with the video. So number one is jaundice. I think every person with Gilberts syndrome knows about this symptom, but for those who don't, us Gilberts syndrome people have less of the UGT1A1 enzyme, meaning we have a harder time clearing out bilirubin. You can see this in the whites of your eyes and your skin. Personally, I don't think I've ever struggled with jaundice. Even though my bilirubin levels rise a bit, I have never had yellow eyes. The skin, however, I do sometimes notice, but I'm naturally pretty yellow, so I'm not quite sure. Like, sometimes I'll compare myself to my dad because our skin colors are very similar, but he does not have GS, nor does anyone in my family, so I think it's just a me thing. Number two is fatigue, anxiety, depression, and sleep disturbances. So I'm aware that this is a huge bullet point, and they are all completely different symptoms, but they actually kind of go hand in hand. Now, this could be caused by a lot of stuff, like low iron, low vitamin B12, or low vitamin D, which is actually possibly more common in people with Gilberts. But if we're talking strictly Gilberts syndrome, then we gotta go deeper into unconjugated bilirubin. So high unconjugated bilirubin can stress something called glial cells, which are needed to support neurons. When your glial cells get stressed, they can't clear out extra glutamate like they're supposed to. So the glutamate just hangs around building up in the brain, and that's bad news because too much of it is actually toxic to your neurons. It can damage the brain's cell lining and throw off things like your mood, focus, and sleep. Now, I could go way more into this topic talking about dopamine, the effect of leaky gut on this, and other genetic mutations, but I'm afraid that this video would last hours and hours, and I really want this video to be focused on the symptoms. So if you want a more detailed version of this, please let me know in the comments. PS, these symptoms are usually present only during periods of high bilirubin. So if you have chronic depression, then please check the description below where I will lead you to a blog post about Gilberts and a condition called Pyrrole disorder. Number three is IBS. IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome, causes symptoms like diarrhea and constipation alongside many other symptoms. People with Gilberts syndrome may have a slightly faster intestinal transit time, meaning that they can go to the bathroom a little bit more often. IBS in people with Gilberts syndrome is usually a microbiome issue, which I definitely recommend looking into. Now, I don't particularly think I've struggled with IBS. Like, I've had some symptoms, but it's definitely not as bad as people who have IBS. So if you struggle with IBS, then definitely look into your microbiome. I feel like people have no idea how much of an effect your microbiome actually has on you. Number four is nausea and abdominal pain, also known as the mystery pain under the ribcage. Now, according to clinical studies, people with Gilberts syndrome actually have a slower gastric emptying time, meaning that we literally digest slower. Yep, our stomachs like to take their sweet time. That means food can just sit there for a while. Now, personally, my doctors used to tell me to take antacids to help with nausea, to calm the stomach. But plot twist, that actually made things way worse. Like, my whole stomach just slowed down even more. Nausea is still one of the symptoms I occasionally fight with. She likes to make surprise appearances every now and then. And apart from the slow stomach transit, some of us also deal with sluggish bowel, meaning we don't break down fats as well. For me, fats have always been one of my biggest triggers. Like, if I eat anything too oily or full of saturated fats, it's game over. The nausea is just unbearable. Oh, and I have to mention the mysterious pain under the ribcage because everyone with Gilberts syndrome is talking about it. And for me, it has completely gone away now. Honestly, after fixing a lot of other issues like SIBO, candida, and histamine intolerance, my nausea is a lot better now. I'm convinced that cleaning up my gut, my diet, and boosting bowel flow has made all the difference. I also follow a diet plan to make sure I avoid any foods that really trigger me. Number 5 is no appetite. Again, the stomach works slower, so supporting your stomach as much as you literally can is key. I struggled with this one a lot back in high school, especially in the morning. Like, I'd either feel so full to the point I'd want to throw up, or be so hungry that I'd also want to throw up. When it comes to GS and digestion, I really think I have been through it all. This was actually one of the main reasons I went back to homeschooling, because it was just too much to handle for me. Number 6 is SIBO and bloating. People with Gilbert's can also be more prone to SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, because when your stomach empties slower, it can throw off the whole gut balance. That slower digestion up top basically makes your small intestine a perfect hangout spot for bacteria to multiply. And if your bile flow or stomach acid is on the weaker side like mine, that just makes it even easier for those bacteria to thrive. I'm actually starting a natural SIBO treatment soon, and I'm really hoping it helps calm down all those nasty symptoms that come with it. Number 7 is leaky gut. So something that nobody really talks about is that bilirubin can actually mess with your gut lining, and over time that can lead to what's called leaky gut. Basically, your intestinal wall gets a bit damaged, creating tiny gaps that let toxins, bacteria, and other unwanted stuff slip into your bloodstream. And once that happens, it can trigger a whole bunch of really nasty symptoms. Things like inflammation, fatigue, skin flare-ups, and even random food sensitivities that seem to appear out of nowhere. So I don't think I've had leaky gut, but I did have candida back in 2021. And I do think I actually had leaky gut alongside that. I actually did a candida and the leaky gut protocol, and genuinely my gut feels a lot better since then. So number 8 is itchy skin. Unconjugated bilirubin can attach to special itch-sensing nerves in your skin called MRGPRX4 receptors, which then send itch signals to your brain. This can also be sometimes linked to sluggish bowel flow, gut issues like SIBO or histamine intolerance, or even leaky gut. And if your digestion's been off for a while, you might not be absorbing vitamins like A, D, or E properly, which can make your skin drier and more sensitive. It's actually kind of funny how genuinely a lot of these things are so connected. Personally, I remember being super itchy as a kid. Looking back, it kind of all makes sense now. Number 9 is estrogen dominant symptoms in women. I actually just wrote a short blog post about this, but to sum it up, people with Gilberts syndrome have slower glucuronidation pathways, which means not only does our bilirubin build up, but so can estrogen. On top of that, certain gut bacteria can make estrogen recirculate in the blood, which is exactly what happened in my case. This is part of why a lot of people first notice Gilberts when hormones go a little bit crazy. For women, this shows up as estrogen dominant symptoms like mood swings, acne, bloating, and irregular periods. Personally, I noticed nausea before my period, and my digestion gets a little quirky. Everything feels heavier, and I definitely get a bit grumpy. Men can possibly experience some effects too, since higher estrogen might suppress testosterone a little bit, but women definitely get it worse because our estrogen spikes and hormone levels fluctuate a lot more. And last but not least, dark colored urine and pale stool. Bilirubin is actually a pigment, and depending on how much you have, it gives your stool and urine their color. Sometimes if your stool is really pale, a bit oily, or even floating, it could be a sign that your gallbladder is struggling. For me, I definitely had this back when I was getting diagnosed, and it was one of the first signs that something wasn't going right in my body. The good news is that fixing your bile flow can really make a huge difference. It can improve your digestion and even bring your stool back to that normal color. In the description below, I don't like this camera angle. Yeah, I like this camera angle just a little bit better. I just want to quickly say that this video was not meant to scare anybody. I know these symptoms can be really intimidating, but this content is for educational purposes only. Having Gilberts syndrome doesn't mean that you will have all of these symptoms. It simply just means that you are more susceptible to these things. I think it's really important to be aware so that you can take extra steps to prevent these symptoms before they happen. I also want to be completely honest with you guys that these videos take ages to make. I don't just pull these symptoms out of thin air. All of these symptoms are backed up by trusted sources. So if you could leave a like or even drop a comment, I would be really grateful, because that means that this video will possibly reach more people with Gilberts syndrome. In the description below, you'll find some really cool resources like blog posts and a link to my own website where I cover everything Gilberts syndrome. I also break down how different supplements may help, something I haven't really seen anyone else do. I've noticed people mentioning like supplements like calcium D-glucarate on those Gilberts syndrome Facebook forums, but nobody ever actually backs it up with anything. So if you want like a really nerdy deep dive, then it's all in my website. And yeah, okay, I know I'm rambling, but all my socials will be also in the description below. I have TikTok, I have Instagram, I have Discord, I have Facebook, so you can find me basically anywhere. Please do not be afraid to reach out. I don't know how to finish videos, so bye, I guess.